Alright, so you have stumbled upon this video, which is just currently me talking, but we're going to get into a topic that I have found very interesting, mostly as of late. The current situation, as I'm recording this and uploading it soon, we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, the COVID-19 situation, so it's given me a lot of time. I've gotten a lot of schoolwork done, gotten a lot of learning done, and I decided, well, I have some time, and I've done some of my own learning, some supplemental education beyond just the schoolwork that at this point is dragging on. My fellow college students can attest to that. The ones that have been thrown into a bit of a interesting situation with online classes that were never designed to be online, and a bit of a learning curve, but hey, that's life. You got to adapt. So this video today is going to be on compound interest, what it means, how it works, and most importantly, how it can work for you. So this is my first video on this channel, so it's going to be a little bit longer than my usual ones. I'm going to try to keep them brief because I feel like I learn best when it's just concentrated information in a short amount of time. Just like get the point across and go on. But I wanted to kind of lay out what's going on with this video, and yeah, it's my first one, so give a little introduction and the situation. So again, this is going to be on compound interest, and yeah, we'll get into it. Alright, so here we are on a compound interest calculator. Obviously the link is up here. You guys can find it for yourself. Nothing fancy, no secret tools, none of that stuff. So this right here is just an example, so we can clear this out for now. This just comes up when you load the page. So let's just get rid of that, get rid of that. So alright, so what is compound interest? Well, compound interest, the formula down here, basically is or explains how do an investment that if your interest compounds, or if you have compounding interest, how that makes money exponentially, or how that wealth or that value of that account for a particular investment grows exponentially. You've probably heard of exponential growth, probably more so recently because of the coronavirus. A lot of the models are using exponential growth. The same principle applies not with death, but with growth here. So compound interest. So this calculator basically explains how you have a principal, a monthly deposit, a rate of growth, and then years. So this calculator is assuming that our interest is compounding annually, so once per year, through the number of years that you have it here. So basically, this is used in, at least from what I'm familiar with, many different investments. There are some that maybe might compound monthly. I'm not aware of them. But overall, if you're investing in the stock market, in bonds, a very common form of value accrual is annual compounding. So here's what this looks like. So you saw a little brief snapshot there earlier when I loaded the page, but overall, here's what you're going to get at. So this is a principle of investing. So let's say that you are investing $1,000. This is your principal. So this is your down payment. You're going to be like, okay, I have some money to start with. I'm going to open an investment account, portfolio per se, with $1,000. Now I'll get into investments, portfolios, the types of accounts you can have, like Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs. You have 401k with your employer. Some of those probably sound intimidating to people that aren't familiar. They're really not that complicated. I don't claim to be an expert. I never will in any of these videos, but just something I learned and want to pass along. So back to compound interest. So let's say you have $1,000. This is your initial down payment of sorts to open the account and start it. And let's say you are going to deposit $100 a month. So you started with $1,000, and then every month after that, religiously, you are going to deposit $100 into this account. Now, for the sake of this rate is what's going to vary depending on your investment. For the sake of the example, I'm going to use 10%. Now, why I'm using 10% is in some of my supplemental learning, I'm a little bit into investing, not as much as I need to be. I'm going to learn some more. But the S&P 500 is an index fund in the stock market, and it's 500 of the largest companies in the U.S. economy, and basically it's a good barometer on how the overall economy is moving. And I think from 1974 to 2014, it grew about 10%. So that's a good historical number to gauge off of. Again, they vary depending on your investment, but overall the market roughly grew 10% from 1974 to 2014. Again, that number can be different, but for the sake of this example, we're going to use 10%, and I'll explain the S&P 500 stuff about in that nature in future videos, but again, we want to keep it just a compound interest here. So you have $1,000, your initial investment, $100 a month at 10%. Now the time is what's going to matter here. I don't believe in get-rich-quick schemes. Now, they're called schemes because it's a scheme. There is no such thing as a free lunch, and a lot of good things come with time. Now, I'm trying to get this information out there, mostly to target people my own age, because this is the key time. This is time that if I was older, I would have wished I had, because time is what makes you money in this circumstance right here, this situation with compounding interest. So we're going to put in an example here. So let's say you have $1,000. We've already been over this right here at this rate. And then you're going to do this for 10 years. I've already done this in a previous example here, previous take. But so here we go, 10 years. Now, again, remember, $1,000, $100 a month. So you get $1,200 a year for 10 years at 10%. Now look what we have here. So let's explain this chart. Obviously, you guys can hopefully read. No assumptions here. No knowledge is common. So, but I hope you guys can read. If you found the video, then good. If you did and can't read, I'm shocked. Here we go. We have the key right here, the legend of this graph. So principal is what we put in. As you notice here on the graph, it's not changed. This is still the same $1,000. You're not adding this in every month. This just stays the same. It's just here just to kind of identify where that $1,000 is in relation to the overall value of this account for the sake of this example. Then your deposits is this right here. Now obviously monthly, 12 months in a year, awesome math. Then as you can see, as the time goes on, your deposits are going to grow because you're constantly investing into the account. So as you can see here, you get to 72 months, $100 a month. Boom. Math, you love it when it works out. This is the key right here. And you'll see why that is the key as time progresses. But just for right here, you notice when you first start out, your principal and your deposits make up the majority of this account. So right now, this account 6 months in is mostly your own money that you're putting in, and you're having to sacrifice, having to part with, because you could use it for other things. You can go and buy movie tickets. You can buy a car. You could, like, again, I don't know about, $1,000, but it's money, man. You could do a lot with it, and you have to part with it, and it's for a brighter tomorrow. You are not, it's a sacrifice, but in the means of time. You are sacrificing current satisfaction for future greater satisfaction. That's how I look at it. So you see in the early stages, you're not getting much of this green. Now green, everyone likes the color green. Green means go, greens mean money. Green is usually a positive color. So as you can see here, 42 months in, we have gained $1,221 and some odd cents of interest. Now obviously interest, there's, from what I'm familiar with, two sides of interest. Either you take out a loan and then you pay back the principal plus interest, basically paying the person or the financial institution for letting you borrow the money, or you're the one loaning money, which investments they can be loans, but don't think of them that way, especially in stocks. You're mostly buying ownership in a company in hopes that the company will raise in value and therefore your investment will. But that's just the overall concept of interest, is you're basically getting rewarded for putting your money into this business, investment, whatever, index fund, whatever it may be. So as you can see here, it starts out very measly growth. Still mostly your input right here, your investment. But as we go over here, it starts to grow. And this is, that's spazzing out. Good Lord, give me a seizure here. Stop it. All right, whatever. So you can see here the overall growth starts to kick in. And after 10 years, we have invested 12 grand. This is worth $23,000. Now, again, I'll get into this stuff in later videos. This is not cash in your hand. This isn't in your bank account. You have it. It's your net worth in this account. But depending on what basket or bucket, a book I read described them as buckets that you have your investments in. If it's a Roth IRA, you can't touch that until your retirement age, so around 59 and a half. So there's some rules, and there's taxes, of course, depending on the type of account. But just for the sake of the example, keep it simple here. This account is worth, at the time, $23,192. You only put in 12 grand. So your money, this 12 grand, literally made you 10 grand. Now this is the beauty of compounding. I'll explain it right here because in a previous take I did it way too late. I kind of missed the point. The value of this right here is getting 10% growth to here. Every year, well, I mean this is months, but yeah, 10 years. So every year, it's growing 10%, but not this investment. It's the overall value in that year is growing 10%. So this money is what made you this money. Like, this is growing in itself. So not only is this money growing, but this money is growing, and that is what is the key. So that's why you see these starting to grow at a higher rate, is because you have more in the account. It's because of that interest. You can see here, like, this is a very steady growth. this orange deposit right here. But the interest is growing at a higher rate because the overall value, the interest is getting interest. And that is where the money is made. Let's bump this up 5 years. So we had 23 grand right here. 5 more years, 45,000, just a little shy of 46,000. Wait, 5 more years, you're only 18 grand in. Again, this is assuming that this rate stays at 10%, which the rate will vary heavily, especially in stocks over time. But what you're looking for is the trend over time. So it'll be up, down, as the stock market does. The economy is always up and down. But over time, so this from 0 to 15, it's grown 10%. This is what your total account is worth. Now, you guys get the idea here. And 18 grand in, you made 26 grand, all 27 grand with 18 grand. The whole turn 100 into $800 I've seen on Twitter recently. That's not how it works. It's not that simple. Investing is simple, but it's never that quick. I'll say that. Making money this way takes time. So I'm 21 years old. So let's say that I want to have this money when I hit 59 and a half. This is in a Roth IRA. Again, I'll explain what that means in future videos, but I'm 28, so some quick math right here. 38 years, be 59, roughly 59 and a half years old. What will this look like when I have $1,000 initially, $100 a month at 10%? Yeah. $45,000, 45 and a half roughly, has made me $500,000. Again, assuming that this rate, but if this is true, then this account is worth 560 grand. And I only put in 45 grand. Now this $100 right here, well, I'll adjust this in a second. This is a little low because this is assuming that I only have $100 a month to invest, 38 years of my life. My goal is to have a little bit more to put away as my career progresses and I get to higher income brackets and whatnot. But this is, in my opinion, again, I'm going to change it around. This is a very conservative investment. Still $500,000. But here is the beauty of compounding interest. You can't even see the blue anymore. The principal doesn't even matter. That $1,000 it's still in there, but it's measly compared to the value now. Look at this green. You see how it's taken off? This is the beauty of compounding interest because you got to wait all these years. See, 18 years, let's see, 16 years, 31 grand. 18 years, 43 grand. 24, 100 grand. It just starts taking off. Now, obviously, the more you have in it per month, it's going to give you a better end goal because whatever's in that account that year that's compounding obviously is going to go into the next year at 10%. So the earlier you have money in over those 38 years, it's going to be worth more in the end. So let's go back and let's say, so let's remember that 560 grand. Let's change this to $200 a month. I have some extra money now and I'm going to put this 1,000 in, $200 a month, 10%, 38 years. Now it's not incredibly hard. We just double the monthly deposit. I have put $91,000 in. I now have over $1 million net worth of this account. Again, depending on how you have it structured, there's tax when you take it out. The government will get their money somehow, don't you worry, at least in the United States. This is, by the way, all this investing that I'm going to talk about is U.S. based. I'm not familiar with any other investments. I'm learning the U.S., so let me start there, and then we might get to abroad. But this is all U.S. investing and U.S. tax law that I'm familiar with. Again, don't claim to be a professional financial advisor, so do your own research as I did. But this is just an overall concept, and just to get you excited because this stuff's fun. 91,000, and it's not like, wow, I don't have 91 grand today. You don't need it today. 38 years. This is over my entire life, basically. Like, this is over my career. A lot has happened in 38 years. And if I can maintain $200 a month for 38 years, and if this 10% rate was true, it's $1 million. But here, I want to show you the importance of how this grows rapidly. Now, this is 38 years, 1,076,000. 40 years. Two more years. Extra 300 grand, roughly. It's about time. Total interest, 1.2 million. 96 grand in this situation made me 1.2 million. This is the importance of time, because if I cut this time in half, let's say I wasn't 21 when I started. It's a little less. That's a good investment. Again, this is a good return. This is a quality return. I can even knock that down to 7 if you want to be conservative, but I'm just showing you the overall concept, 10%. 48 grand, 160 grand. $110,000. I was sleeping. I was hanging out with friends. I was at work making more money while this was making me money. Doing whatever. This money just is passive income. You probably heard that term before. Maybe not, but basically it's income you are not actively working for. Now, yes, you got to make sure you diversify your portfolio. You got to stay on this deposit, keep an eye on things, make sure things aren't awry. But your account is worth 160 grand. So this is the overall concept I wanted to share with compounding interest. I could sit here and mess with these numbers a bunch. Of course, if you up this, it's going to get you more money. The concept is there. You guys can get on this calculator right here. I'll link it in the description as well. But this is the overall concept, and it shows how if you give it time, it takes time. This kind of stuff, you reap what you sow, and you got to make sure that you're doing the things you got to do. And think about it, because, excuse me, you don't want to forget to live along the way. So sometimes I find myself being so worried about the future that I forget that I'm living right now, and that I don't want to look back and be like, man, I was so nervous about 5 years from now. I forgot to enjoy life at that point, because life gets more complicated as you get older. I mean, I'm only 21, and it's already more complicated than when I was 17. And I'll look back on this and be like, you got a whole lot coming. But overall, point is, stuff that I've learned, and this concept is like level 1 for investing. This is just the concept. Of course, we get into how can you do it. The thing is, it's not hard. It really isn't that hard, I promise you. There's no secrets. There's no code names, no crazy calculus you got to do. It's really not that hard. I think sometimes some investments are structured to look difficult, so you have to consult with people and pay those people to help you do it. Investing is not all that hard. You can invest in the stocks. You can invest in bonds. You can invest in figurines. People did it with Beanie Babies in the 90s. Not a good investment. Stock market, a little bit better. But overall, this is compounding interest. Again, the video got a little bit long, but it's my first one, and I want to sit here and explain it and kind of set the tone for this. The whole thing I want to do with this channel is explain things in a way that I would receive them, because I feel like in some of the classes I've taken, they're very just dry, just PowerPoint that's got no color on it. It's just staring at it. I'm like, I just want to get out of here. I want to go to bed, take a nap, want to go hang out with friends. This is stuff that I promise you is incredibly relevant to your life. Now, I'll sit there in class, and I'm like, dude, I'm not going to need to know, whatever, like a balance sheet, like unless I'm going to be a corporate accountant. This stuff matters for everybody, and it's stuff they don't teach you in high school. I don't know why this isn't taught in high school. This is not a hard concept. There are online calculators that can help you grasp this concept. Of course, here it is written out. Technology's here to help you. If you're good at this and want to sit here and do it by hand, then be my guest. But just clickety clack right here, boom, get an idea. Again, you don't need to have a bunch of money. $100 a month, over 38 years. And all you had to do was put it in the account. It's all you have to do. Again, the rates change, but overall, compounding interest is your friend. And I want to let people know about this early. There's plenty of people out there that are talking about it. Of course, it's a big deal, but I thought I'd give a channel, or make a channel and put some videos out that a little bit more of a laid-back take on it, not so crazy and too much going on. Just sit here and talk about it, because that's how I learn. I learned this through reading, through talking with my financial professor, just some after-hours phone calls, just saying, hey, man, like, explain this to me. I want to understand this, because I feel that if I understand this early, I will have made proper decisions, and I will thank my past self. This is what I'm trying to give you guys some insight. And yeah, that's the video. I'm going to get off my soapbox here, and yeah, we're done. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please leave a like, comment. If you didn't, leave a dislike. By all means, that's what the rating system is for. Let me know what you want to see next, or comment on this video. Did you like the format? Did you not? What can I change about it? And yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Even if you didn't learn it, maybe it's a bit of a refresher. And if you know someone that doesn't know about this, tell them about it. Tell them about compound interest. Tell them about investing. The earlier you start, the later self, your future self, will thank you up and down. If you are frugal now, if you chase after your money, secure your bag, but you put it away. You invest it smart. You don't make dumb decisions. Avoid debt. We'll get into all that if you can. Of course, there's some situations where you need it. Okay, we'll get all that. But if you make the right decisions, the future you will thank you, and you'll have a lot of dollars and a lot more freedom. So, again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, see you in the next one. See ya.